with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb and saw that the stone had been removed from the tomb. So she ran and went to Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one Jesus loved, and said to them, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb. We do not know where they have laid him." Then Peter and the other disciple set out and went toward the tomb. The two were running together, but the other disciple outran Peter and reached the tomb first. He bent down to look in and saw the linen wrappings being there, but he did not go in. Then Simon Peter came following him and went into the tomb. He saw the linen wrappings lying there, and the cloth that had been on Jesus' head, not lying with the linen wrappings, but rolled up in a place by itself. Then the other disciple, who reached the tomb first, also went in, and he saw and believed. For as yet they did not understand the scripture that he must rise from the dead. This is the gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. There was a prayer that we said last night, and it was this: "Now that the days of the Lord's passion have drawn to a close, may you celebrate the gladness of the Paschal feast. Come with Christ's help and exulting in spirit to those feasts that are celebrated in eternal joy." That thought brought to mind something that happened recently, has happened frequently. I often say Mass in St Patrick's Church Hill in Sydney, and I travel by the 506 bus from Hunters Hill every morning, or the mornings that I go in for Mass and reconciliation. And I usually walk through that centre arcade of the Queen Victoria building, and as you know, it's lined with little coffee shops. And there's one outstanding one. I'm sure those who have been there may have even had a cup of coffee there, and it's got above a little banner called Babette. So I ordered a cup of coffee and a croissant, and I said to the little lady from Asia, I said, have you ever heard of this word Babette? And she said, no. I said, well, there's a movie called Babette's Feast, and it's also a book. And so I explained a little bit about it, and I said, you're engaged with food, so perhaps you'd like to have a look. So I finished my coffee, croissant, and as I went, I said, don't forget. She said, yes, I've downloaded it already, and I'll watch it tonight. I'm sure many of you have seen the movie Babette's Feast, and read the book by Karen Blixen. This is a brief summary. It's an aide-de-memoire for those who have read it, and it's a new story to those who haven't. It's about two elderly sisters, Martine and Philippa, who live in a small, remote village on the coast of Denmark. They are the daughters of a devoutly religious minister who founded a strict Protestant sect that disapproves of worldly pleasures. The blue ribbon, no sport or fun on Sunday brigade, as my philosopher teacher used to say. One day, a French woman named Babette arrives in the village seeking refuge from political turmoil in her homeland. Martine and Philippa take her in as a cook and housekeeper, and Babette becomes a beloved member of their austere community. Years later, Babette learns that she has won the lottery and decides to spend her entire winnings, 10,000 francs, I think it was written in the book, on preparing a sumptuous French feast for the sisters and their small congregation on the occasion of their father's anniversary, his 100th anniversary of his birthday. Despite their initial resistance, the guests were gradually won over by Babette's delicious food and wine. They begin to let go of their ascetic ways and embrace the joy of the moment. In the end, they realize that Babette's feast was a gift of love and gratitude, and they are forever changed by that experience. On this Easter morning, we gather around the table of the Lord to celebrate a sacred banquet that is the summit and source of Christian life, Like Babette's feast, this banquet is grace. It is the gift par excellence, for it is the gift of the Lord himself, of his person in his sacred humanity, as well as the gift of his saving work. Babette's feast is a parable of grace. 12 people gather to celebrate a meal in honour of their revered pastor. And during the course of that banquet, they are transformed. The exquisite food and wine and fine wine are freely and graciously given to people who scarcely knew how to appreciate the feast that is laid before them. These people had heard sermons on grace nearly every Sunday, and the rest of the week they tried to earn God's favour with their pieties and renunciation. Grace came to them in the form of a feast, Babette's feast, a meal of a lifetime lavished on those who had in no way earned it, who barely possessed the faculties to receive it. Grace came to Nord-Rosberg, the cold, bitterly cold village where they lived in Norway, as it always comes, free of charge, no strings attached, on the house. So too does the ineffable mystery we celebrate on this holy morning as Jesus invites us to the Eucharist. Last night, we had the blessing of the water, and we had the reminder of our own baptism, and we'll reenact that now, and I will then sprinkle you with the water that we blessed last night.